Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you're all doing well. I thought I'd take a little break or separation from my normal daily videos to discuss things that are happening within the cryptocurrency space. For those of you who may not be aware, over the last couple of hours, Bitcoin's price in the wider cryptocurrency market started falling dramatically and has been falling for the last couple of weeks, months, years, if you even want to look at it this way. First is going to be an explanation as to why, air quotes, the price of the cryptocurrency market has fallen. And then we're going to get into something I think that needs to be spoken about just to keep everyone on the right track, if you will. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Malta-based cryptocurrency exchange Binance's Shanghai office has abruptly closed its doors, several sources close to the matter told The Block. According to the sources, the exchange's Shanghai office was recently raided by local police, where many of Binance's executives and as many as 100 employees work. When reached for a comment, a Binance spokesperson refuted the raid, saying that we don't have any entities in China. Most of them work remotely in China. The news was last night, a couple of hours ago, that the reason that Bitcoin's price had started to fall or continued falling from where it had been a couple of days ago. Even if you've seen my November 15th video, you know that a lot of that is bull crap. The prices had fallen and had continued falling and will continue to fall even more because Binance was raided. For those of you who don't know, Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume on this planet. They have the most activity that flows through their network, and therefore they are the largest. So we had a news report that people... Binance Shanghai was raided by police. Almost immediately after, recent reports that Chinese authorities have raided the office of the leading cryptocurrency exchange Binance are actually quite false. Speaking to Cointelegraph on the 21st of November, a Binance spokesperson refuted media reports that Chinese police had raided and subsequently shut down the exchange's Shanghai offices. Furthermore, the spokesperson stated that no such offices even exist. They said the Binance team is a global movement consisting of people working in a decentralized manner wherever they are in the world. Binance has no fixed offices in Shanghai or China, so it makes no sense that police raided on any offices and shut them down. And quote, for those of you who have not been here before or have not seen any Binance news, Binance is special because they don't have any physical locations. They make sure that when they do open up somewhere, they get the proper charters or the proper paperwork, whatever they need to be able to open up somewhere, but they work remotely on their computers. The head of Binance as well, Changpeng Zhao, has said this multiple times before. He has a laptop, he gets onto a plane, he flies somewhere else, and he deals with what he has to do on his laptop and not in an actual physical location in a place that has the word Binance written above it. This is why yesterday we had news that Binance had acquired an exchange in India, and they mentioned that a lot of the cryptocurrency exchanges in India were physical locations, and they thought that was special because they themselves don't have a physical location. This also piggybacks directly on the news that we've had a couple of days ago that the head of China, the president of China, had declared that he loved blockchain, but apparently wasn't too in love with cryptocurrencies. And it started the free fall of the news that we had that apparently crypto was being targeted within China as a way to get people to not like cryptocurrency and therefore just to love the new crypto or digital coin that the Chinese government was going to create. Still with me? Hope you are. The entire idea has been that since the last 2 weeks that Bitcoin's price had to fall down. Bitcoin's price must fall down. Bitcoin's price was definitely going down. Why was Bitcoin's price going down? Because the news said so. The news said that Bitcoin had to go down. Bitcoin was looking bearish, and therefore Bitcoin's price would have to go down at some point. The part that I find the most interesting or the most fantastic about all of this is that it's very easy to create fake, falsified, not real news and simply put it out there, not blaming the person who wrote this article. He got his news from somewhere, and that you can put this news out and you can terrify people and the people start selling. It's even better when a couple of hours later, a company can come forward and say, that's not true, that didn't happen, it's not real, we don't even have a physical location, but the damage has already been done. On top of this, South Korean cryptocurrency exchange BitHumm is denying recent reports that Chinese authorities have raided its Shanghai offices. How How weird, right? On the same day, on the 21st of November, a BitHumm spokesperson informed the block, once again, that the recent rumors of a police raid and closure of the exchange's Shanghai offices are false, and that it is one and only Shanghai team continues to operate steadily without pause. Yesterday, Chinese media reportedly wrote that South Korean crypto exchange had told its employees to take a long vacation without informing them about any specific date on work to return. BitHumm has now denied these news reports. The point of this video is going to be that the cryptocurrency market is stupid. We are in one of the dumbest markets I have ever seen in my entire life. The point of this channel, for those of you who don't know, I've mentioned it before to people who have already been following. Hello, if you're brand new. The point of this channel is to relay news, to tell you the stuff that's happening within the cryptocurrency space. I report what's happening, I give you what's happening, and if something is corrected, if something crazy ends up happening, I run back to the computer to make sure to let everybody know what has happened. And I try to wait. I used to not do this before. Years ago, when I started the channel, if there was new news, I ran to the computer. You had to have it immediately. And people were asking before why I didn't give the news right as it happened. Man, you used to be so fast. It's because a lot of the news that we get in the cryptocurrency space is bullcrap. It's not real. And it takes me a while I make sure that at least multiple different websites have the same information before I relay it to the public. Because a lot of times I've given news before, about a year and a half, some change ago, and then we come to find out an hour and a half later, that never happened. It never took place. Someone made an article online, shared it with tons of people, and then those people wrote articles about it, and those articles ended up permeating the entire internet, and none of it ended up being true. We are in a market that doesn't react to positive news, but shivers the moment that we get anything that is remotely negative. For those of you who are unaware, I am of the mindset that I think the entire cryptocurrency market is manipulated, keeping in mind that every other market on this planet is manipulated. But a lot of people seem to think that for some reason that crypto is immune to this. A lot of people think that because we are dealing with decentralized cryptocurrencies or coins or whatever, that these things are immune from the grasp of the very rich, and that for some reason they simply can't manipulate the market. When you are able to release news that is fake and scare other people to sell off their coins or believe that other people, this is how the markets work in every single market. If you can spread news quickly enough and make someone else afraid and get those people to start selling, it causes other people to start selling. And this is why we've seen before when there were, what was it? I want to say it was the entire wash trading situation where someone can pretty much put a fake sell order. And someone goes, that person has 15,000 Bitcoin. What do they know that I don't know? And everyone begins to panic. Everyone starts selling. And then all of a sudden, that sell order disappears. And it becomes a buy order as the price has tumbled down. And all of a sudden, all those coins that went on sale or less get gobbled up. And that's the end of the story. Then the price ends up going back up. We are part of, yes, me too, part of a market that doesn't react how it should. And I'll try and be as honest with you as possible. I've noticed a lot of people, and it may not even be people listening to this channel directly. I've noticed a lot of analysts, a lot of people on crypto Twitter, as it's being called, who love to tell other people how great they are in crypto, how many Bitcoin they have, how well they trade, how much they so and so, how many sources they have. But they're terrified constantly at any negative news, and they make sure to tell other people that they should also be terrified, which also leads me to my theory that a lot of these people are just working to try and get the price of Bitcoin down. A lot of the people in the cryptocurrency space, you may not know it, are rich. And a lot of times they're in the cryptocurrency space just for themselves. They want to make sure, or they found a way to make other people listen to their call. And this is why when we get those articles, it's like a recent person on Twitter was talking to their 97,000 fans about the fact that Bitcoin's price is going to go down, as if the 97,000 people is some sort of weight that allows their words to say that Bitcoin is going to go down to mean that it's going to go down. You can be a ruler of a country and have 900 million people under your control. It does not mean that if you say something out loud that it is going to be true. That is not how truth works. It actually works probably the opposite way, because it usually goes off of a public consensus as opposed to just what one person is saying. What we've seen over the last 2 years has been quite interesting. Before we became a market that catered to the rich, Bitcoin's price kind of did what it wanted to do. Bitcoin's price was, and the community more so, was made up of people who believed in a world that could be decentralized, and a world that could allow people to have equal stake, equal rights in money. I know that, oh my gosh, I know that sounds weird, right? Allowing everybody to have something and not having people starve to death on the street. But this is what we believed, and this is why we had many cryptocurrency projects arising, saying we can help, we can do the exact same thing. At some point at the end of 2017, when people realized that Bitcoin was going to go above $10,000, $15,000, $18,000, many cryptocurrency exchanges, Coinbase, many other cryptocurrency, or people who hadn't even been into cryptocurrencies at that point, changed their entire motive, and they started saying, we're going to make this market for the rich. We're going to make sure that only rich people are catered to. And what ended up happening too, we did cater to them. We opened the doors, we opened our arms, and we said, please, by all means, take over our market, destroy what we have. Before, Bitcoin's price used to move on very, very random things, but it still kind of made sense. If there was where was it? It was somewhere in the south of Europe. There was a country, Cyprus, I believe it was Cyprus. It went through some type of economic turmoil. I think the government had taken their money, or was taking money from citizens' bank accounts in order to be able to pay back debts. Absolutely insane. What happened? Bitcoin skyrocketed. That's what Bitcoin is for. Bitcoin is to get us out of these sticky situations, or when governments are telling people, no, you cannot do this, when it was legal before just 3 days ago. You buy Bitcoin so you can transact with your friends, with your family members, with other people around the world without having to tell or be told, no, you cannot do it. Or being able to be safe from the idea that I don't want my money taken away. I'm going to deal in Bitcoin because there isn't a third party person who I have to trust. I don't have to send my money to this person, to this person, to this person, to this person, just for it to get over here. I can send it one way and it hits them. What happened after we, and I say we loosely, because it was mainly major players within the cryptocurrency space who made sure that they opened the doorway. And we were also told as well that the cryptocurrency market wouldn't move anywhere unless rich people got a hold of it. It wasn't going to go anywhere. It couldn't possibly go high. The 20,000 was a fluke. It's definitely going to go so much higher, but we need rich people to take over the market. What we ended up experiencing were, and I have this one here because I hate this word. You can find tons of videos on YouTube. If you type in the word Bitcoin bloodbath, you're going to be, what's the word? Not overflown. You're going to be washed away by the amount of, any time that Bitcoin went down, we had news that there was a Bitcoin bloodbath. And what happens when you release news like this is that people get terrified. People think that there's something terribly, that Bitcoin is in the street dying. Bitcoin is in the street bloody. It's having a problem. It's dying. And therefore, people need to take their money out of the market. But the part of the problem is that for some reason, this became a really big keyword on the internet. People started looking for the term Bitcoin bloodbath and completely lost their minds. And whenever this term popped up on YouTube, on the internet, on Twitter, people were like, oh my gosh, it's another bloodbath. I have to sell. And the cryptocurrency market kept on nosediving. And remember all my videos, this is the beginning of 2019 when this article came out. Luckily, we don't hear about Bitcoin bloodbaths that much anymore, thank goodness. During 2018, whenever I made a video, whenever I was scouring the internet for news, I kept on saying, we have really good news in the market. The market has such great news. Every single day, like the most bad news that we would have had was a government saying, we're not going to ban it, but we don't like it. We'll give you regulation soon. Go sit in the corner. It's probably the worst news that we had. The crypto market kept on going down. And I was like, why does the crypto market keep on going down? Because people on Twitter and on the internet kept on saying that Bitcoin was going to go down. And I said, they're self-fulfilling prophecies. I said, everyone, listen. Bitcoin keeps going down because you're being told that Bitcoin's going to go down. And when you go to sleep, in the back of your head, you think, I have to sell. I'm terrified. This money that I put into the cryptocurrency space is only going to do worse. And then en masse, people around the world kept on selling. We had news about this company getting into it. This country was in love with Bitcoin. These bankers were buying up Bitcoin, some of which I'm going to go through in a couple of minutes. It was only good news in the cryptocurrency space. But for some reason, the rise of, and I dare not use the word fake news too loosely, but it began to flow rampantly through the cryptocurrency space. And that's not to say that in 2017, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, that we didn't have fake news, but it wasn't on this scale. Any type of fake news that we would have had was that this new coin was going to be the greatest thing to Bitcoin, or we had a couple of politicians, or maybe usually Jamie Dimon, coming forward saying that Bitcoin was garbage, Bitcoin was going to die. That was probably as fake as it got. We had a couple of news stories that people were printing Bitcoin. We had the news that I think Vitalik Buterin had passed away. And even then, about an hour later, I made a video and it was called Proof of Life, where Vitalik Buterin came out and showed the piece of paper that had the current hash of Ethereum. Therefore, he was still alive. Now I'm going to go through it and explain to you why the cryptocurrency market doesn't make any sense. And I know this video may not even change anything, but I hope that it opens up the eyes of people within the cryptocurrency space to simply understand, when I say do your own research, it's not me saying something to save my own skin, or simply just to have just to hear myself breathe into the microphone. It's me telling you to please do research, to please understand that we are in a market that doesn't make a lot of sense. I've seen people before in the comment section a plethora of times asking me and other random people in the comment section, my friend told me that Bitcoin was going to go down. Should I sell? And then you always have the trolls and they say, yeah, dude, I also heard it's going to fall down. You should sell right now. And then that person, about a week later after Bitcoin has gone up, I see the comments, dude, I sold last week. Why did I sell? And then they get angry because you didn't do your own research. You're not paying attention to the market carefully. You're waiting for someone to regurgitate words to tell you where the market is going to go. And I've noticed a lot of people don't watch my channel anymore because I don't hype them up. I don't tell them, guys, the market's going to go down. I looked at my charts and the charts are looking crazy, dude. Like, you got to sell at this point because what's going to end up happening is that the market's going to go down. You're going to be really upset. And then the market doesn't go down. The market actually ends up going up. And then people get really upset when I don't hype up their crappy coins, when I don't, that's besides the point. The point being, the market is drowning in disgustingly fake news. For those of you not looking at the screen right now, it says the 12th of September, 2019, Trump may ban Bitcoin when price reaches $100,000. When did Trump say that? And keeping in mind, this is not a political channel, so please don't start writing political stuff in the comment section. It's more like a, who wrote this? Who thought of this? Where did this come from? Where's that information? And why did no one else get it? Why are articles being written? And this is not against the person who wrote it. It's more like a, the sensationalism in the cryptocurrency space is disgusting, because keeping in mind, we are in a market where potentially Bitcoin one day could rise to $100,000. It's easier to push fear into people's hearts than actual logic, not even hope. Don't even push hope into someone's heart. Give them logic as to these things that could be happening. Why scare people in the market? Why, whenever a number of analysts, this is why I find everything so fishy. The same exact time when a number of leading analysts, air quotes, start talking about that Bitcoin's price is going to go down, we are drowned in articles talking about how bad that things are going to become. Whenever we get, we always get a good slather of good news. Whenever we get like really good news, you ever notice that the news becomes really negative almost right after? Yeah, don't get too bullish. I almost said a name. There's a very prominent person on Twitter who's been bearish for the last 2 years, if not more. And I read an article with him. He was talking to some like famous news outlet, and I was like, this is the best you could get. He was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to a time where I'm no longer bearish on Bitcoin because I know that Bitcoin's going to make it. And I'm like, really? You didn't seem that way for the last 2 years. You've told around 110,000 people who are following you on Twitter that Bitcoin isn't going up. Bitcoin's not going to go anywhere. And even when Bitcoin skyrocketed in price, you told people to be afraid because you saw on your charts that Bitcoin was going to go back down. How weird that 110,000 people at the same exact time probably sold off their coins, and then exactly what you said was going to happen ended up happening. That's kind of odd, right? Kind of weird how you... Anyway. The idea that's flowing around right now, at least for me, is that you can write whatever you want and people will react to it. What's happened is that in the beginning of 2018, when prices were going down, remember all the analysts, all of them, that's about every single one, kept on saying that Bitcoin's price was going to go back up. For those of you who were not here during the beginning of 2018, we had a good cloud around us that kept on telling us that Bitcoin's price by the end of the year would have hit 60,000. It's going to hit 60,000. And this is when we started having an avalanche worth of good news. And I want to say a light avalanche. It was like a heavy snow. But for some reason, the news started becoming very negative. And on top of this negative news came the price drops. I'm going to try and not speed through them, but just explain the things that were happening within the cryptocurrency space. This one says, Winklevoss twins Bitcoin ETF rejected by the SEC. We started having the idea that we needed a Bitcoin ETF within the market. And if there was not a Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin was simply not do too well. What ended up happening is, in rapid succession, anytime that we got news that something from the traditional markets, once again tying into the fact that we were told that we needed rich people in the cryptocurrency space, anytime that something that they had proposed was knocked down, simply didn't go through, some of the things that they were trying to launch on other platforms had hacks, 51% attacks, this didn't work out, they lost funding, Bitcoin's price would go down. And I'm like, that's not what Bitcoin is for. Bitcoin is not to gauge the price of what rich people are doing in their spare time. It's to allow people in Venezuela, in other countries, to be able to go, we're having economic problems, we're having hyperinflation, our government is terrible, our president is garbage, let's buy Bitcoin so that we can transact between each other, so that we can mine Bitcoin so that we can so and so and so. Over 9 billion wiped off of Bitcoin's value after SEC postpones key decision on a cryptocurrency ETF. Who cares? Who cares if the SEC over the last 5 years has been rejecting every single Bitcoin ETF, and suddenly we're all supposed to care and sell off our Bitcoins in anticipation of other people selling off because the Bitcoin's price is supposed to go down because rich people said so. Weird, right? Crypto's $600 billion crash hits a new low. Bitcoin fell or crashes 37% in November, wiping 70 billion off of cryptocurrency's market value. Keeping in mind, around the same exact time, all the news within the cryptocurrency space was great. By the end of 2018, we started seeing that everyone stopped releasing news. That was a really interesting moment in the cryptocurrency space. Everyone in 2018 was releasing as much news as they possibly could about their cryptocurrency projects, because so much was, still is, and always is going on within the cryptocurrency space. There are always new developments, there are always new updates, there are always new upgrades, always new partnerships, always new this, always. I mean, you can't really, when I make sure that the news that I bring, I try, that I give everyone, is like the most important. Some of the other stuff, like, it's really, there's constant updates amongst the cryptocurrency space, and like even just within the top 15 coins, constant updates of everything that's going on, and it's usually always very good news. It's about what we're going to have in 2020, what updates we're going to have, new protocols that we're seeing, new partnerships, new this, you can now pay on this, you can now buy that, you can do so and so. This entire mall is now accepting Bitcoin. This entire place just moved over to this. It's always great news. But for some reason, the market kept on going down, and people kept on saying, oh, it's Bitcoin capitulating. And I was like, what if it's people just manipulating the market? What if it's the, Google the term, we are going to tame Bitcoin. And I said, what if it's just rich people who got into the market who are constantly like, yeah, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure to push Bitcoin's price down, while even while we're getting very good news. This is also around the same exact time, for those of you who haven't been paying attention to the traditional financial market, they're not doing well. And I've been saying that for about 6 months now. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says the Fed adds 103 billion with a B to the financial system. Over the last couple of weeks, the Federal Reserve, has been injecting billions of dollars into the traditional financial markets, buying up securities, bonds, whatever you want to call them, to be able to stimulate the financial system because it's not doing well. Besides countries lowering their interest rates to negative interest rates, meaning you get no money on your interest, or when you're paying, it's all these things. It comes down to the fact that they want people to take out more loans. The more loans you take out, the more the economy is stimulated, and the lower the interest rates are, the less money that you have to pay, and therefore they're expecting people to kind of continue to take out more loans. This isn't working, especially with negative interest rates. So the Federal Reserve has been pumping money into the traditional markets. And what's really weird is that the stock market is doing well. The stock market keeps going up. It has these like moments where it goes down, but then it shoots back up. I think we just recently hit another all-time high. And the really weird reason why I say that the crypto market is stupid is because I don't think people, how do I put this in the nicest, and I mean the nicest way possible? This is an indication that the market is going to crash. The traditional financial market is very sick. It's not doing well. This is the moment where everyone, not financial advice, should be buying Bitcoin because it's an indication that the market is being propped up falsely. This is what Bitcoin is for. We are probably very soon, if you Google, wherever you get your news from, whatever, a lot of people think, a lot of analysts are saying that the market is being propped up right now because it's probably going to crash in 2020. Bitcoin should react positively to this noise, i.e. Bitcoin's price should be skyrocketing right now. Bitcoin should be at least $20,000 on the news that the worldwide financial system is doing terribly. This is what it used to do before. We also have news that Germany is probably in a recession, as are many other countries right now. And this news isn't private. This news isn't secretive. This is very public news. It's there for everyone. But I think a lot of people who have gotten, this is just my opinion, how I feel. I think a lot of people who've gotten recently into the Bitcoin space don't understand what Bitcoin is for, and I think they never will. I don't think they care about it. I think a lot of people are in the cryptocurrency space to simply put money into Bitcoin, become a millionaire, cash out, and then they never have to think about Bitcoin again. Bitcoin is a new worldwide financial system that is not tied to the old financial system. It is something that is going to deliver freedom to everyone who uses it, and it's supposed to get us away from inflationary currencies or ideas from governments that if something doesn't look right, you throw money at it. Then it does okay until it doesn't. And what ends up happening is the worst part of a lot of this is that when the market crashes once again, like it did in 2008 and 2009, a lot of people who were into the Bitcoin cryptocurrency market are going to be crying that they simply didn't see it. We had no idea this was happening. Why didn't anybody tell us that the current financial system was also crashing? Well, this is why I keep saying, make sure to do your own research. The fact that Bitcoin is going down is the reason why I think the cryptocurrency market is at its dumbest. I don't care if you don't like me saying that. I don't care if you disagree. It's the truth. The last 2 years, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market's price has gone down on fake news and news that should have propped up Bitcoin. I don't 1000% believe in capitulation, and I mentioned this before in another video. When people talk about Bitcoin as a whole, they talk about Bitcoin as if it is a living, breathing entity. Well, Bitcoin looks like it has to go down. Bitcoin looks like it has to so and so. It looks like Bitcoin is taking a breather. Bitcoin does not breathe. It's a computer. There are people around the world who are trading these markets, and they agree amongst themselves where prices have to go and where prices are going to go. And this is why they keep saying this is the bottom, this is the so-and-so, prices are going to go back up. This is not decided by Bitcoin. This is decided by algorithms and people who are trading. And that's the system that's actually moving the entire gear system. I took a deep breath and I had to stop myself because one of the things that I've noticed the last couple of years after having delved deeper into Bitcoin is that Bitcoin and the wider market are very susceptible to nonsense. There are a lot of infighting within the cryptocurrency space, and a lot of it hasn't. Maybe I'm just not on Twitter as much as I once was. Maybe this is why I'm feeling better mentally as well. People fight amongst themselves, stating that Bitcoin is this, EOS is that, XRP is this, Ethereum is that, Litecoin is this, so and so and so. And then other people, other factions start popping up stating or saying, my coin is better. I could make a better coin than you. I could make a so and so better. And this is why we had the birth in 2017 of Bitcoin Cash, or as it's more widely known as Bcash. It's a coin that should not exist. It's a coin that's not being used. And it's a coin that caused the cryptocurrency market to drop down. If you were not here during that time, oh yes, it was a fabulous time. Finding out that people could greedily, very greedily, fork Bitcoin and create a brand new coin and just simply slap the name Bitcoin on it and say that it is Bitcoin. And they get tons of people around the world to believe that your coin is the real Bitcoin, when we can look at the chain and see that it's not. I was hoping for a very long time that this, not that it wouldn't have happened, but I think that people would have kind of had and some sort of an epiphany and gone, well, clearly this is the right Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin that we should be following because it has the longest chain, has the longest amount of transactions, and we can see exactly the same exact one that Satoshi was using, and therefore this is his idea of what should be happening. Nope. Bitcoin's price started slamming down, and people were like, why is Bitcoin's price going down? It's because people manipulate the market, and people figured out very well, and this is another reason why I think the crypto space is losing brain cells very rapidly, because people realized that they could make any type of scam coin, and this also led to the birth and the advent of people declaring that they were Satoshi Nakamoto. I remember for a while, people on my channel were like, dude, are you Satoshi? You can tell us. And I saw, bless your hearts, I saw a couple of people writing things online, I'm not joking, on Twitter and on Reddit, declaring that they thought, I've seen people say that I was a time traveler, and I've seen people say that I was also Satoshi, or I knew Satoshi. I'm not. The point being, people realized very quick that they could make quick money, and that's my worst problem with the entire thing. As far as like Bitcoin forks, it makes me very sad because all you're doing, and I don't really care at this point anymore. All you're doing is confusing other people, telling people that this scam is the real Bitcoin, and that they should. The worst part is telling other people that they should invest in your coin because you're the real chain. And then you get people who have this glimmer in their eyes because they're just trying to make money, and then they believe you, and they invest in your crappy coin, and then they lose money, and even more so, they begin to get the idea that their crappy coin that they've put all their money into. I've seen oh my gosh, the comment section. Some of the coins that I warned people about in 2017 and 18, I think people bought as much as they possibly could. I think they probably used their life savings to buy up these coins. And when the prices dropped by 99% on some of these coins, the comment section just filled with people telling other people that they should buy their coin because I know they have a lot of it. It's just far too obvious. About a year later, Bcash split into two blockchains. It caused Bitcoin's price to drop once again. Isn't that really, really weird? On the same exact time as the other one was made, and this is why, for those of you who weren't here for my other video, the timing for me is a bit too suspicious. Bitcoin Cash is created. A year later, Bitcoin Cash SV is created, and exactly a year later, we start getting news that Bitcoin's price is going to drop again, like on the exact date as when the other coin was made. Sure. News started flowing around after Satoshi's vision, the third most largest and well-known Bitcoin Cash fork scam, started to go around. And can you guess what happened over the course of like about a good month? Bitcoin's price, it says 37%. Bitcoin actually continued to crash and fell to half its price. It went from 6,000 to 3,000. because of things like this. I don't know why it's so easy for people to fall for scams. I don't know why it's so easy for people to panic in situations like this. It's like, imagine a situation where, let's say, there's Apple stock, and I tell 20,000 people on Twitter, hey, I'm going to make Apple Cash stock. Everyone should buy it. It's the real Apple. Then I get about 5,000 people who buy my Apple Cash stock. Then a year later, somebody else goes, no. I'm going to make Apple Cash Apple's Vision coin. You should all buy that. And then people also buy it as well. Why buy scams? Why? It's a very... And you know that there's scams. You know that these things are not real. I don't understand the mindset of people. I don't know, people are just trying to make quick money if they think that other people are also going to buy into the scam. I remember people buying into Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you are like, I never held that coin. I know you held it. I know you had it. I know you held it. You were expecting the amount of people when Bcash started who thought that Bcash's value was going to pass by Bitcoin. Show of hands. Please raise your hands so that the whole class can see that you at some point screamed at me and other people in the comment section because you thought that Bcash was going to pass by Bitcoin. Raise your hands up. Very high. If you're driving, don't raise your hands. Or if you're holding a baby, don't do that. Raise your hands. No one? No one's going to admit to it? No one's going to admit that in about 5 years, no one will be using Bcash and or SV? No one's going to say that, but everyone's super cool with promoting these things so that they can try and make money off of other people's backs. No one's going to announce that? All right, cool. The other part of it is the market, and I get that people react to fear, but these things are usually cleared up very, very quick. And a lot of the market, I think people just like being afraid. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just cracked the code. The screen says South Korea plans to ban cryptocurrency trading. Rattles market. I'm going to show you exactly how, what's the word? Oh gosh, what's the word? It's irrational. How irrational the cryptocurrency market is for everything, both up and down. This is going to be the best part. Here's the best part of the video. No matter what the news is, the cryptocurrency market goes down because it's completely irrational. South Korea plans to ban cryptocurrency trading. Rattles market. We learned about a day later that apparently the president or head of South Korea can't do this. That it was completely impossible. They legally could not ban cryptocurrency, but the market continued to go down. We had indications in 2018 and 2019 that the company Ripple had actually partnered with anywhere from 80 to 100% of all banks within India. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Microsoft partnering with an entire country? Can you imagine PayPal announcing an official partnership between them and India and that they were working with every single bank in India? Can you imagine how much PayPal stock would rise? We had information that a cryptocurrency company that had been around for about 4 or 5 years had partnered with almost every single bank in India. Isn't that crazy? And that they had over 300 partners. 300. And around 20 plus companies were actually using a digital token that was gifted to the company. And the price of the coin went down. Doesn't that seem super irrational to everybody? Can you imagine? I mean, I could give you a quintillion scenarios of how illogical that is within the cryptocurrency space. That people kept on saying, no, it's because my coin is better, because that coin is garbage. It's because my coin is so-and-so. And I'm like, it doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't. Any other coin, if they had this news, would have also gone down because the market doesn't react how it should. Because I'm still fairly certain, can you hear me? I'm still fairly certain that people are pushing down the prices of cryptocurrencies as much as possible so they can buy as much as they want while they scare people out of the market. Remember, what was the news that we had a couple of days ago? We had something from Ripple's swell, and apparently it was all good news. They were announcing all these new partners, all this new this, all this new blah, 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 and the price of their coin went down. Isn't that weird? Isn't that completely insane? Fidelity launches institutional platform for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll give you 5 seconds to guess what happened to the price of Bitcoin and Ether as that happened. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yup. You got it. Prices of cryptocurrencies continue to slip down, and the analysts on Twitter kept on saying, it's just capitulation. The price has to go down. Oh, shout out to all of those analysts who said at the beginning of 2019 that Bitcoin was going to go over $100,000 by this point in the year. A little clap for all of them. The market doesn't make any sense. At this point, I'm not expecting it to really make any sense. The major point of this video is to let you all understand. For those of you not looking at the screen, I have about 89 tabs. Over exaggeration. About 39 tabs up there. It's impossible for any market on this planet to get 2 years worth of good news and for prices to continue to go down. And even more so, part of the other rhetoric of the entire thing is that prices are going down because the cryptocurrency space is garbage. No, no, no. I promise you. That I can promise you. This is one thing I'll definitely say I promise you. When you are a major corporation, when you're a major institution, when you're a very rich family, when you're a stock exchange, and you decide to change something, to integrate something, to get something into your platform, it's because you are heavily invested in it. You know for a fact, as a company, as an institution, as whatever, that the market is going places. You as Fidelity, as the New York Stock Exchange, as the NASDAQ, as the Swiss Stock Exchange, as the German Stock Exchange, you don't get into a cryptocurrency at this point that was only around 7, 8 years old. What benefit would you have from that? Why? Remember I said this in another video? And I still don't think people got it. Why would you as a company get into something that's only 7 years old that people are actively, the people who hate it, we're calling garbage? Bitcoin's price keeps dropping. Bitcoin's definitely not going to make it. Bitcoin's going to so-and-so. Why, if you had analysts who had been in the market, traditional market, since the 60s and 70s and 80s, had gone through all the paperwork, they knew everything about markets, why would these same people get into cryptocurrencies? It's almost like they see it going somewhere. That's very, very weird. Why? Remember all the news that we had about the institutions who were buying up all this Bitcoin and all this other stuff? The crypto's going to be huge. And if you don't understand that, maybe cryptocurrency is just not for you. Even more so, it doesn't make sense that prices would go down when we get all of this fantastic news every single day. And I'm tired of using the M word. I'm tired of saying manipulation. But you all know that it is there. This one says the Rockefellers move into crypto. Remember when we had news, I think it was 2018, that the Rockefeller family, one of the richest families in this world, had moved into cryptocurrencies, and the price went down, and I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because we had news that a couple of other very rich families had also got into the cryptocurrency space, and that they were buying up Bitcoin in mass. They weren't buying up a Bitcoin. They weren't buying up 5 Bitcoin. They were buying up thousands of Bitcoin at the exact same time. I know I mentioned this before. I used to go to a lot of cryptocurrency events like 2015, 14, 16, somewhere around that time. And I used to meet tons of people. Think of Bitcoin's price around that time. I used to meet tons of people who told me that their accounting managers, all this other stuff, people from their like family offices. For those of you who don't know, rich people have rich family offices. They're people who tell them where to put their money so that they can make money later on. They are generational wealth dealer, accountant, stuff like that. They make sure that you invest in the right things so that for the next 5 generations, your family has money. And then the next generation, not even the 5th one, they make sure that they have money for the next 5 generations as well, just how things go. These people told me, yeah, we've been told by our clients to put around 5 million into crypto. And I was like, 5 million? Yeah, we have to buy as much Bitcoin as possible. Do you know what Bitcoin is? Like, they would ask me these like really weird, stupid questions like, what is it? We've been told to buy tons of it. And I was like, the spark would go off in my head, and I would call my friends and I'd be like, dude, this is going to be so big. I told so many friends in 2012 to buy Bitcoin. You know how many listened to me? 0. 0 friends. I told people when Bitcoin was $200, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to go up to at least 5,000. Dude, who wants it? Who wants a Bitcoin? What is that? I'm not going to buy that thing. That's the Rockefeller news. This one says, for those of you not looking at the screen, millionaires are stashing their Bitcoin fortunes in a fortified bunker under a Swiss mountain. We had a lot of news like this. This wasn't even like a one-day thing. This wasn't simply what's it called? Like a one-time news thing. Over the course of 2018, we had this news about 5 separate times. The most significant one is that one company, ONE, one company, that they're not called ONE, just one company, had announced to us that they were custodying 7% of all the Bitcoin in the world. You know how much money you have to have as multiple people to be able to acquire 7% of all the Bitcoin in the world? And they announced that they were locking it away in a mountain in Switzerland. I made a video and I told people, I was like, pay attention. Pay attention to where all this is going. But another company who told us that the, what was it? I think they were in possession of, I think, 1 to 2% of all Bitcoin in the world. Can you guess what happened to Bitcoin's price? Bitcoin, how illogical is this entire market that if for 2 years, we know this isn't even like me making up stuff. This isn't even me being like, oh my gosh, guys, I think rich people are buying up Bitcoin and having no proof, 0 proof of it. We know that this is all happening daily on a constant basis. We know that rich people are buying up Bitcoin in mass. The guy who runs Twitter, what's his name? Face guy. He has hair. I can't remember his name. Deanie McMichelson. Whatever his name might be. He said he buys Bitcoin every day. This guy, worth hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion at this point, is probably not just buying a Bitcoin per day. He also said that he loves Bitcoin and he is certain that Bitcoin is going to be a worldwide, if not the worldwide currency within the next 10 years. Do you think this man who's buying Bitcoin every day is buying a Bitcoin? Or do you think he's buying several hundred Bitcoin? Maybe like a couple 100,000 per day. He said he even he created that Bitcoin buying app, whatever it's called, money something. He maxes out his buying power every single day to buy up Bitcoin. One can only assume he probably also has multiple Bitcoin mining rigs. Probably not in his house. He probably owns a huge warehouse mining Bitcoin. The fact that rich people have managed to take over the market so easily, push the little guy aside, keep you afraid, and let you not understand where all of this is going is incredible. Imagine a market that can be taken over within, it took no more than about 3 or 4 months. The coordinated release of news that we had from countries that they were going to ban cryptocurrencies around the same exact time at the beginning of 2018. And then all the news that we had about the institutions who were getting into the cryptocurrency space and people kept on selling. Doesn't that seem really weird? That all the news that we had that we knew was fake that I told you was fake, that caused other people to get to sell their cryptocurrency that was then bought up by rich people. This is why I keep saying, I'm certain there was news yesterday that some company was trying to figure out exactly how much Bitcoin was left in the world, and they came to some really weird number conclusion. It was very basic. It was so basic, and they were talking about the actual circulating supply, and it was more so like, we have 18 million Bitcoin that have been mined. It's believed that around, like, I think a couple of them were lost into this, and this was a so-and-so, and they believe that there's around 16.5 million Bitcoin floating around, and I was like, no. We know for a fact that the Winklevoss twins, Mike Novogratz, the guy from Twitter, and a handful of other very rich people have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. And these are just the ones that we hear about on a daily basis. Can you imagine a situation where a company has launched, or is going to launch, or they're really popular, or they're so and so and so, and we get news that there are millionaires and billionaires in the world who are buying up that stock in mass, that they believe that that company is going to do very well, and then the price of the stock goes down. Think of that. Imagine a situation where Microsoft, Louis Vuitton, Nike, all these rich people start buying up, and out of nowhere, and like we get the news. We get the news on a daily basis. We can see the numbers as well. that they're buying up hundreds of thousands, millions worth of this stock. Not like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like actual stock, hundreds of thousands of the stock in mass. And then the stock goes down for 2 years. People would be losing their minds and calling the entire market irrational or rigged. We had news that the president of Venezuela had created his own cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency ended up being garbage. Nobody was using it. Nobody. They had to force people. I think if you wanted a passport, I think they were forcing you to use it. I think if you wanted, there was some other, I think a plane ticket. There was all these really weird things if you wanted them. You had to use the Petro, which was the name of their coin that they created. At some point, we got news that Venezuela as a country had made it legal that if you wanted to send money, a remittance, into the country, the only legal things were, I believe it was the Venezuelan Bolivar, it was the Petro, and it was Bitcoin and Litecoin. Do you know what happened to Bitcoin's price after an entire country had announced that out of the 4 ways to legally get money into their country, 2 of them were cryptocurrencies? The prices of those cryptocurrencies fell. And I made another video explaining to people, hey, this not making sense. This no make sense. Why price go down? And people said, oh, because Venezuela is a so-and-so, it's a communist, this is a blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. You're not understanding. If an entire country says Bitcoin is legal, when you're sending money around the world to go into our country, you can use a digital currency that's only 9 years old, and then the price goes down. That's illogical. That means the market is stupid. That means the market's not paying attention. And my biggest fear, and it will be this way for a very long time until it happens, because I know it's going to happen. When Bitcoin one day skyrockets in price, all the people who left the market will do everything that they can to get back into the market as quick as possible. And they're going to realize that they sold off all their Bitcoin and they'll never have that much Bitcoin again. Who will have the Bitcoin? The people who already have the Bitcoin, the richest people who have continued buying this entire time, who saw all the signs. I looked into the sky as if there was something there. All the signs that were there. All the rich people buying up, all the rich families, all the countries who we know were also buying up. How much news have we had about people working in different governments around the world who had announced that their government was buying up Bitcoin? People were like, no, that's not happening. I wouldn't be shocked if the people who told me that in my comment section weren't the same exact people who were writing on Twitter that the price was going to go down. I think I cracked it. I think I got it. Because no one logically, if you have a friend who doesn't understand how illogical this is, stop being their friend. If you don't understand the significance of any country, I remember in 2012, 2013, the idea was the moment we got any country, for a country to have to announce openly that their currency is garbage, we accept Bitcoin, that little sign that you see on stores when you walk by them, that means that we had won. That Bitcoin was far and vastly superior to anything that they had in that country. And the fact that Bitcoin went down and barely registered any price movement up, that the market is stupid. Do you get that? Do you understand that? The news that we had, it says 17th of April, 2019, 3 countries tell the International Monetary Force. Oh gosh, what's the name? International Monetary Fund, the International Monetary Force. All right, that's going to do it for this video. 3 countries told the IMF that they want to issue Bitcoin bonds. What are their names? It was Afghanistan, Tunisia, and Uzbekistan. That they went to the International Monetary Fund and said, our country isn't doing well. We need to issue funds against Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin's price went down. Because what I think is we're at a huge rift in what is and what isn't. I think people react more to news that, yeah, Bitcoin's going to go up to $95 bajillion tomorrow. Buy as much as you can. You're going to be rich. Lambo, hot girlfriend. People react very quickly to that news. I don't know what it is. I don't understand what the fantasy is that a lot of people have in their head. Stop it. Let it go. Immediately. Right now. You're living in a fantasy world that isn't real and you're going to be broke in about 10 years. Stop. Whatever fantasy people have in their heads right now, that Bitcoin is going to go up to $1 million, that XRP is going to go up to 95 million per coin, that this coin that you bought a year ago that you knew that you shouldn't have bought is going to go up sky high when the next bull run happens and you're going to be rich and you can cash out and get your hot wife, live in a mansion, live in so and so and so. These are fantasies. Stop it. The world is shaping up. It's going to take a while. The world is shaping up to be Bitcoin centric, to be cryptocurrency centric. We have countries, the rift that we have is between very rich people who already control traditional finance, who see the signs written on the wall. It's the letters B, U, Y is written on all of their walls, on all of their foreheads, and all the news that we get. They know to buy Bitcoin, to buy cryptocurrencies, because it has a long-term benefit for their wallet. Remember when I said before, when the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ had announced that they were going to be getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I was like, that's it. That solidified it for me. You don't, as a major financial the people who make finance, the people who, the most well-known financial centers in the entire world, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, when they said they were getting into Bitcoin, I said, that's it. I understand why Bitcoin's going to make it. You don't, as the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or the German Stock Exchange or the Swiss Stock Exchange or the list goes on forever. You don't get into Bitcoin for a year. You get into Bitcoin to say, well, maybe we can make a couple of bucks. Maybe Bitcoin goes back to 20,000 and then we delete the whole system. You know, we no longer integrate with it. They're doing it because they see the long-term benefits of where this is going to go and how much money there is to be made. We've had multiple analysts, and it's not the Twitter people from banks and institutions who have told us. They leaked the news out there. We had news articles like this, that they thought in their paperwork that Bitcoin was undervalued, that Bitcoin should be 50,000. It's clear that Bitcoin's probably going to go to 100,000. We had Swiss banks releasing information that they saw Bitcoin going to $250,000 within the next couple of years. And then the price goes down. Can you imagine, for those of you who were into Bitcoin around 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, anywhere within that time frame, if someone had told you that 3 countries wanted to issue Bitcoin bonds and buy up Bitcoin because their currency was garbage, and they told the IMF this, would you have expected Bitcoin to go down? Would you have expected any country on the planet to announce, if you want to send money to us, you can do it in Bitcoin and Litecoin, that their prices would have gone down? Do you understand what this means when you have countries announcing that they want to buy Bitcoin, are buying up Bitcoin, are hoarding Bitcoin? The other countries who are, what was it? They were hacking other countries' systems to get to Bitcoin. Why would they be doing that? Isn't that so weird? It's almost like they see the huge long-term benefits of a decentralized system where they don't have to rely on the US dollar. It's almost like we've gotten that news almost every day for the last 2 years. What could it mean? I guess I'm just gonna have to sell my Bitcoin. I don't see any meaning in it. I don't understand the significance of the people who make monetary policies around the world, who deal with money, who cumulatively are worth trillions of dollars, getting into a Bitcoin. That name sounds stupid. Why would they? I don't know. I can't find any reasoning behind it. They must just simply be doing it because they're going to try and make money for a year, and then they're going to dump it, and then they're going to so and so and so. It's not going to go anywhere. No. Bitcoin's definitely, I think Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's done. You should all sell off your Bitcoin. Remember this one right here? It says, why has Litecoin fallen 50% since June? It's a funny headline, but it's also very sad. Litecoin went through their halving, where the reward got cut in half. And we've seen before in the past, for many a coin, that when the reward or the issuance rate of that coin goes down, the coin typically goes up in price. I wasn't expecting a $9,000 Litecoin, but I was expecting a stability in price. You know what ended up happening? Is people bought Litecoin a week before it happened, before the actual reward got cut in half. And then when the reward, when the moment had passed, they sold off their Litecoin because they don't understand the significance of a protocol that is decentralized, lowering their inflation rate. Many coins, or rather, even if we just focus on Bitcoin, and Litecoin's going to get there in a couple years as well, they're going to have an issuance rate that's less than almost every country on this planet. When Bitcoin has the next halving and the one after that, we will never have seen an inflation rate this low for a currency ever in human history. EVER, ever. This has never happened before. And then the prices drop and people go, yeah, it's because the coin isn't being used. It's because the coin isn't garbage. Me and Litecoin aren't the best of friends, but I appreciate the fact that its inflation rate has been cut in half. And it's going to continue to happen for as long as Litecoin is on this planet. Can you imagine a world where we don't have to worry about inflation or hyperinflation again because we are part of a deflationary currency that's part of a protocol that's going to exist for possibly several hundred years? And then the price goes down because people don't appreciate, because people are so obsessed with making quick money, with making fast money, with making money. I think 2017, and I said this one other time before, and I saw people vomit on their keyboards. I think 2017 was probably one of the worst things that could have ever happened to crypto. It's because people realized what Bitcoin was and started throwing their money into it. And then at some point when Bitcoin passed by 10,000, people lost it. People lost their minds. And the idea, remember there was a Bitcoin conference and people were driving around the street in Lambos because they don't understand what Bitcoin is. A lot of people listening to this right now will probably have their arms crossed, have like one hand on their chin, rolling their eyes. They're looking on the side for like another video to click on because you don't understand what's happening. You don't understand the significance of a world where we don't have to rely on the US dollar, where we don't have to worry about inflation, where if you buy something where there's a set number of them, it's yours. When you own Bitcoin, when you own Litecoin, when you own XRP, you own a piece of the protocol. You don't own the US dollar. You don't own the euro. You don't own anything. These are things, these are instruments of debt that are paid back to governments. You don't own it. When you own Bitcoin, it's yours. When you have the key on your computer, it's yours forever. No one can take it away from you. It's your official property. People think that cryptocurrencies, and I'm gonna do this until people get it, or at least until Bitcoin hits 5 million and I just go live on a beach somewhere. The significance of all of this, why we have it, and why it's significant that Litecoin fell by 50% after the reward got cut in half. Why Bitcoin has continued falling in price even after all the good news, even after we know that the reward having is going to happen, that the issuance rate of Bitcoin is going to be cut in half, and the price still falls. The fact that we get copious amounts of good news on a daily basis of where Bitcoin is going, how much Bitcoin is probably going to be, how much Bitcoin is helping people around the world, which I realize that people don't care about. I realize that people don't care that other people are being helped. People only care about themselves. People care, I'm going to get all the money. I'm going to get so and so and so. I'm going to get blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you are interesting. I think I was fearful at one point, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen when Bitcoin does go up and people start cashing out of the market. And then 10 years later, where those people are going to be. I'm very interested to see how all this is going to transpire. This one says, Bitcoin's trading volume exceeds 2 trillion in 2018 despite year-long bear market. Remember, I kept on saying that we only had good news in 2018. Only 99.9% good news, except for like the crappy SV fork and a bunch of other stuff, and the price dropping. We had a great year full of good news. We had news that Bitcoin had transacted trillions of dollars in value back and forth. At the same exact time, we had the news that Bitcoin had transacted 4 times. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times as much value as PayPal, a service that's been around for is about 15, 20 years. Bitcoin in 1 year transacted trillions of dollars, and the price went down. This wasn't significant to people. People didn't care about the number. People didn't care that Bitcoin's price itself wasn't 2 trillion. People didn't care about the fact that a decentralized protocol that wasn't owned by any government allowed them to send money anywhere they wanted without anyone telling them no. And at the same time, rich people understood this. When you talk about rich people having offshore accounts, you want to know the greatest offshore account that we've ever had? It's this. Ever. You can buy Bitcoin anonymously as long as it's legal within your country, and no one will know that you have it. If Bitcoin ends, if you have 10 Bitcoin and Bitcoin ends up hitting $1 million, you have $10 million that people just aren't aware of, that you can trade, buy, sell, and buy whatever you want on your own accord. This is the most significant period in history, I think. The technological advances, the medical advances, the things that we have that people just aren't paying attention to, and I understand the reasoning somewhat. I understand that people want to get out of the rat race. I got that. Try to keep a leveled head and try to understand that just because in a couple of months or a year that you may be able to cash out $250,000, buy a little house, get a pretty wife, have some kids, get a dog, and live off the land, that's not the end of the story. It's not a situation where you simply cash out and then you're good. This is a protocol that you can own pieces of that rich people are buying up in mass. When we get news that Bitcoin has transacted more than PayPal, how many employees does PayPal have around the world? How many employees does Bitcoin have? And who transacted 4 times more value than the other one? And whose price went down? I'm pretty sure PayPal probably wasn't devalued when they transacted. I think it was 250 billion over the course of 2018. I'm pretty sure their value didn't go down. Stupid market. We had information. It says October 1st, 2019, state-backed German bank. A state-backed German bank. A state-backed German bank says Bitcoin will leap to $90,000 in 2020. They pretty much stated that the stock-to-flow ratio, pretty much the amount of Bitcoin that's being released with the amount of people who are pretty much trying to buy it, accumulate it, kind of the what's another like really weird term? The supply and demand, with the supply being knocked in half, that they saw Bitcoin's stock-to-flow ratio. It says that if the May 2020 stock-to-flow ratio for Bitcoin is factored into the model, a price of around $90,000 per Bitcoin emerges. This would imply that the forthcoming halving effect has hardly been priced into the current Bitcoin price of $8,000. We are currently nearing a Bitcoin price of $7,000. Why in the world would a state-run bank care about Bitcoin? Why would a country care about Bitcoin and start releasing PDFs about it, about where they think the price is going to go, and how people should get into Bitcoin, how people should care about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin is great and blockchain technology and yada, yada, yada. And then the price still goes down. This is not the first time. This is not even Plan B. Plan B is that guy on Twitter. I think he used to work for a number of financial institutions. He checked his own charts and said that by the halving, grain of salt time. This is not me telling you to run and buy Bitcoin simply because the halving is going to happen. They've all come to the same conclusion. Can you imagine worldwide banks coming to the same conclusion around the world that Bitcoin is going to be valuable. And then normal people sell off and the price goes down. Imagine getting news that there are countries who want to start buying Bitcoin and issuing bonds against it because their currency is garbage. And then the price goes down. Can you imagine the people who dominate finance, integrating Bitcoin into their systems, creating apps for people to be able to go buy and sell and trade Bitcoin, to be able to use your Bitcoin in a store, and then the price goes down? Can you imagine people launching things that are derived from Bitcoin, that are directly denominated in Bitcoin, and then the price goes down? I know why prices are going down. The rich people the rich people got it a long time ago. They know exactly how to control markets, and they're pushing the price down because big things are going to happen. Can you imagine the market going down even after we continue to get really good news? Major German stock exchange to launch a crypto trading platform. Price went down. Bitcoin's computing power sets records as over 100,000 new miners go online. Bitcoin's price went down. We had little spikes where Bitcoin's price would go up. And then the moment people left the hype of the news, the price went down, not understanding that this isn't about hype. If you want to talk about a stretch of hype that is almost never ending, it started happening at the end of 2017. It's no longer that, what is it? Buy the news, sell the rumor, sell the rumor, buy my foot. It's whatever people keep saying in the comment section or whatever, or so and so trying to sound smart on Twitter. Think of the long-term prospect of 100,000 new miners being turned on. They're not turning on these computers for a day so that you can get this news. They're still on. Rich people aren't buying up hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin to make you happy so that you can hear the news and that you can sell, and then they sell off as well. Everything that's happened has been perpetual. These people are doing these things like Venezuela still accepts Bitcoin. There's still more Bitcoin miners coming on every single day. We just had news about a month ago, before this, that the people from Bitmain were going to expand into the US. What's the news that we had yesterday? There was another cryptocurrency company or something, whatever. They planned on creating a brand new mining factory that would outpace and outdo Bitmain. People hear the news and then they sell off their coins as if it makes sense, as if it drives me crazy. You know, but before cryptocurrencies, I was into stocks and bonds, and the amount of people who used to tell me, "Yeah, man, you got to sell right after," and I used to just hold on to the stock and not sell, and then the price would go up after that person had sold. Imagine I'm out of breath. How nonsensical is this entire market that all the prices keep going down? Well, I know why the prices go. I mean, it's rich people pushing the prices down. The amount of people who just aren't in the market anymore, the amount of people who left. And the weirdest part is the amount of people, I know it, I can feel it. When Bitcoin's price jumped up a couple of months ago, my view count exploded. My view count went crazy, and I sat there wondering, I was like, what happened? Why did people, and I realized it was because of the price. People only pay attention to the price. People aren't paying attention to what's going to happen 5 years down the line because people don't pay attention. People don't. How many of you, and I don't mean this in a mean way, and I promise you, I'm looking you dead in the eye. How many of you or people you knew are in some type of a rough economic situation that could have been fixed 5 years ago if you had just saved money? I have a lot of friends, and I know these particular people aren't listening. The amount of people and friends I have who don't save money, who could have saved money 5 years ago, who didn't have to buy that TV, who didn't have to buy that car, who didn't have to buy that second house, who didn't have to buy that timeshare, who didn't have to buy that so-and-so, who didn't have to buy those new sneakers. All that money you could have saved that you could have put towards another investment. No one looks towards the future. People only look at right now. There was a thing online where someone was asking, it was like, if you, I can't remember what it was. It was something along the lines of, if I told you to wait 1 day, if I told you to wait for 10 days and I gave you $100, would you wait? Yes. If I told you to wait, I think 30 days, and I gave you, I think it was like 250 or something like that dollars, would you wait? No, I would take the 100. Why would you take the 100? Because I have stuff to buy right now. No one thinks ahead. No one saves. No one even takes the news that we get right now and pretty much stretches it out and thinks, this didn't happen once. It's continuing on. All the other news that we got about the other countries, I'm pretty sure more countries have gone to the International Monetary Force and told, I keep saying it, the IMF, International Monetary Force, and told them, we're looking into Bitcoin. We've been buying Bitcoin. We're so-and-so Bitcoin. This is going to last for a very long time. Cryptocurrencies are not here for a month. Cryptocurrencies are not here for the next 2 years. They're going to be here for a lifetime. To finish the story off of why the cryptocurrency market makes no sense and why it's stupid, 5 months ago, we had news. Police protect Tron offices from angry mob. Millions of dollars in Tron moved. Where is it? Where's the thing? There we go. Police raid Tron office in Beijing. We had news that apparently the Tron office in Beijing had been raided. This never happened. We get news like this so often. So often. That these crazy things are happening within the cryptocurrency space, and then we end up getting news later on that it didn't happen. Me and Tron aren't friends. Tron is probably the last person I would call to my birthday. Not even lying. But the fact that news like this is so easy to create and to get out there and to scare people. Tron collapsed in price after this. Tron had a very rough time around this period. And then the guy was like, no, we didn't. That never happened. The same exact way, if you've been paying attention, at Binance's offices also weren't raided. It's very easy to manipulate the news. It's very easy to manipulate people, to scare them and to think. Like, do you understand how crazy that is? This is basically the same exact news that we had about Tron, just with the name Binance slapped on it. Someone realized they could create the news that this had happened, scare people, and get them to sell their cryptocurrency and cause the prices to go down. This, for me, is nothing more than a part of the November 15th news that Bitcoin had to go down, and that Bitcoin was going to go down. It's a load of bullcrap. All of it. There are people out there who are actively trying to make people sell their cryptocurrencies so that they can acquire more, which is even weirder. Like, imagine how greedy you have to be to want other people to sell so that prices can go down so you can get even more, even when you probably already have 15, 25, 30,000 Bitcoin. You know how the word unethical doesn't even begin to describe the actual situation. I'm not really sure how to end this video. I wanted to have more tabs up here. It was computerly impossible. I was going to say humanly impossible. Doesn't make any sense. It was impossible. This has been happening for years. Try to, I want to say, keep a leveled head. Make sure, and I know like 3 people will, make sure to always do your own research. If you hear something that's too good to be true or too crazy to be true, probably is. We're in a market where rich people have understood explicitly, clearly, where this market is going and how much money they can make. We have institutions and banks telling us where Bitcoin's price according to their charts are going to go. And they're not like really like bad charts. They're charts that pretty much have shown exactly where stocks and all these other things are going to go, and they're probably correct. And then the price ends up going down. Like I said, I'm not really sure how to end the video. I hope you all in some way enjoyed. I hope I flicked the switch in someone's head. I hope that people really are beginning to understand. If the news seems ridiculous, it probably is. We keep getting news that's meant to scare everyone so that they'll sell off. And then we end up getting news, thank the goodness, from the people going, no, that's not true. That never happened. But the damage has already been done. We get news that prices, that adoption is happening on a wide scale basis. The price goes down during that day, and then people go, crypto's crap, I have to sell it. It's a lot. And I know it's a lot because I deal with this every day. Like when I'm done making videos, my life still continues in crypto. Like my closest friends, are into crypto as well, and it's pretty much all we discuss when we're together. So I understand. It's just that when history looks back at the beginning of cryptocurrencies, it's the same exact way. Like how people look at that. I'm sorry, dude, whoever you are. Like, really sorry. When people look at that guy who bought like 5 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin, you look back and you go, wow, I would never do that. But you're doing it right now. This is exactly what's happening. People aren't taking advantage of this opportunity, and people sell off because they think that they're not also just buying pizzas. They think, well, this isn't a pizza. This is a brand new car. This is a new so-and-so. The amount of people, do you guys remember when Steam was like a really hot, popular social media platform that they were trying to get growing, and there were a couple of people, not going to name any names, there's about 5 people who were on Steam, and they were also a part of that scam, but they used to sell up their Bitcoin. They were buying mattresses, and they were buying new shoes, and they were going on these vacations. And then their other scam that they were part of fell apart. These people don't have any money anymore because everyone thinks that they're not buying a pizza. No one's waiting for the long term. Everyone's just simply doing, I mean, it's whatever. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope that at least 5 of you understand. Hope that you all have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Understand that you can have a great life. Don't read between the lines sometimes. Just read the actual lines and do your own research. The amount of people who are in this market and where the market could potentially go. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.